Everybody. This is Michele with Fun in Key West, and it is another exciting episode of Tasty Tuesday. As you can see, I am back in my office if you are watching us on our live stream. And this is where we try to bring a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of salty air, and a slice of pie every once in a while. And today, literally a slice of pie. So today, we are diving into everybody's favorite tangy treat. And we're going to be talking about key lime pie. I'm specifically going to reference Publix Key Lime Pie because if you haven't had it, it's a unique twist on key lime pie. We're going to talk about why it is so beloved, what makes that key lime pie so different from other key lime pies, and how can you recreate that at home? So if you can't be near Key West or Florida or a Publix, you can grab some of your very own key lime pie at home. Maybe this might be a really good idea for maybe a Father's Day treat. If that special father of yours, that dad in your life, loves key lime pie. And then we're also going to delve into some fascinating and some interesting history of the key lime pie. And don't forget, we're only a few weeks out from the Key Lime Pie Festival in Key West. And if you have plans to be there, yay! If you haven't heard of it or are thinking about being in Key West, this is a festival definitely for you. It's just around the corner. It's July 2nd through July 6th, so you can celebrate 4th of July in Key West and have key lime pie. So stick around. Let's see what we can dig into. So first, what makes the Publix Key Lime Pie so special? So raise your hand if you've grabbed a slice or a whole pie at Publix after a long day. Yeah, that would be me. And we've all been there. But what actually sets that pie apart from some of those others that you can grab? Well, it has a signature tang and creaminess, and they use a graham cracker crust foundation. But they do the whipped cream around the edges and then sprinkle sliced almonds around that whipped cream edge. I think that gives it an interesting detail and a crunch you're not quite expecting. There are so many ways to enjoy a key lime pie, and I go on and on about key lime pies. I know you're saying, Michele, why on earth do you go on and on about key lime pies? Well, at first, I think they're just an amazing dessert, but it's so iconic of the Keys and Key West. And I just want you to really appreciate the options and don't go for those fake things. There are true things that you can truly enjoy in Key West that offer this tangy, creamy, exciting thing. And the best part about it is most of these are no bake, and you don't have to turn on that oven in the heat of summer. So to give you a real quick overview of how you can make a key lime pie, because obviously, unless you're watching live, there's no way for me to show you. But let me just walk you through how to pull together a key lime pie. You're going to whisk together 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk and a cup of key lime juice and make sure that's all nice and smooth. Then you're going to pour into, and this is going to be so easy, pour it into a store-bought graham cracker crust. I know, you're saying, Michele, what? Yeah, put that into a store-bought graham cracker crust. It'll be fine. And then chill that until it's firm. Didn't turn on the oven. Didn't mess up a whole bunch of stuff. Don't have to do a whole lot of dishes. Then you're going to take some sliced almonds, those thin sliced ones you get in those little packages, toast them up, and you're going to pipe some whipped cream around the edge if you're real fancy. If you don't want to be that fancy, you can get the can. This is even going really, really easy. Get the can of whipped cream, go around the edge, and then sprinkle those toasted almonds around the whipped creamed edge. And there you have it. That's key lime pie. That is key lime pie in a quick minute. Now, obviously, You can half the recipe if you want, and you can make sure it's chilled long enough, because if it's not chilled enough, it gets real runny and it doesn't hold itself. So you make it the night before, especially, so that it does that wonderful setup. And this clone recipe works really well because you don't have to turn on the oven. It mimics that baked custard feel that you get out of a regular key lime pie. And there's some chemistry involved in all of that, why it works and how it all comes together. But bottom line is, the condensed milk is there to thicken it, and it's just a wonderful substitute if that's what you're looking for. So to recreate all of that, we talked about key lime juice. And we've talked about this before. Key limes are different than the Persian limes that you normally see in the grocery stores. Those Persian limes are a little bit bigger. They're not as tangy and tart as a key lime, and a key lime's a little tiny. Those are going to be a little harder to find. But you can substitute, keep fresh regular lime juice. It's not going to have that tang, but it'll work. But you can also buy bottled key lime juice. You know, you've got Nellie and Joe's, and you can order some from Kermit's and they'll ship it to you. And so that it works very well. And you can not only use it for key lime pie, but imagine maybe making some key lime or key lime chicken or all kinds of things. Put a little bit of key lime into your fruit salsa. There's all kinds of ways you can use it up. On your sweetened condensed milk, make sure that it's not expired. We don't use sweetened condensed milk a lot anymore in our recipes, obviously for health reasons and all of that. So sometimes they sit and we only use them during the holidays, but make sure it's fresh, it's good, it's a good quality brand that you can trust, and it's consistent, because you want to make sure that you have that quality. You can do the graham cracker crust, you can make it store-bought, you can do your own, so it would be butter with ground up graham crackers. Just get a nice one. And when you pick them up out of the grocery store, I notice this. Sometimes those stalkers are they're behind, they're having to get the stalk out on the shelf, and they just throw those pie crust up on the shelf, and sometimes they get cracked and crumbly. So make sure when you're grabbing one, it's all nice, and don't put a lot of heavy things on top of it, and make sure it's protected like eggs when you have it in your grocery cart. If you're impatient like I am, and you didn't plan ahead like I usually don't, you can quick chill this key lime pie in a bath of ice water. So, you drop it down in a little bit of ice water, and that sometimes will chill it a little faster. For a little bit of extra pop, think about putting a little bit of key lime zest on it, or regular lime zest, or something like that. You can also, if you don't have almonds, but you like pistachios, think about maybe pistachios on there. But if you're recreating that Publix kind of key lime pie, that they do almonds. You can also variate your crust. It could be shortbread, make a nice shortbread crust, bake it up, and do all of that. It's just whatever you're thinking. You can add fruit on top of it, go wild. But your base is very easy, no bake, you don't have to turn it on. So now that I've given you that overview of how to make a really quick imitation clone Publix key lime pie, now that you're sitting down and enjoying that pie, let's go into a little bit of history of key lime pie and its origin. So again, you're probably going, Michele, why does this matter? Well, as I said earlier, key lime pie isn't just a dessert. It's a cultural icon of the Keys. But did you know its origin story is part legend and part marketing war? Yep, there was a conflict, and let's dig into that. So the common origin tales is that Aunt Sally in Key West, about 1890s, was a cook at William Curry's estate at the Curry Mansion, and she whipped up a pie with condensed milk and key lime juice. And so, because they didn't have refrigeration then, so that's how supposedly the lore is around the creation of the first key lime pie. But if you follow David Sloan, who is absolutely an icon in Key West, he defends this as the local claim and defends this as this is the story and the origin of key lime pie. There is some lore that Borden, the milk producers that make also condensed milk, They made a magic lemon cream pie in 1931, and the recipe came out of a kitchen in New York, one of those test kitchens from Borden. And supposedly it was a recipe printed on the can that used up the condensed milk, had egg yolks and lemon, and then was later adapted in the Florida Keys using limes instead of lemons. Some of the debate around it and the marketing war on that was Borden created the recipe so they could sell more of their condensed milk. The Key West community pushed back, saying local cooks had made the recipe earlier. So then you end up in this whole marketing war. It's 1930s, and you have, we made it first. No, we made it first. But in the end, it's just great pie, right? There's also another theory around sponge fishermen, this icebox pie theory. If you're from the South, Southerners make icebox cakes all the time. So you use whipped cream or a pudding and you put crackers in like graham crackers, or you use those little shortbread cookies like those Chessman cookies, and you layer them, and then you put them, you squish it down, you make a nice little layers, and then you put it in the fridge, meaning an icebox, and it turns into a texture of cake like with icing in it. And so there is a theory that the sponge fishermen had their own icebox pie theory of creating key lime pie. And they would go out on these extended trips, and they had to carry non-perishables with them, because if you're on an extended trip out on the ocean, obviously you can't call in a DoorDash order. And so they would use stale bread, some condensed milk, and limes, and they created an icebox cake, if you will, an icebox pie, using those items. But the bottom line is, key lime pie came out of wherever, but we enjoy it today. There was limited milk availability in Key West. I've told the story multiple times about the fact that I grew up in Alaska, and when my parents first met, fresh milk wasn't available. And so they would go to, my dad was in the military, and so they would go to the commissary and they would pull in shelf stable milk. You still see shelf stable milk sometimes, like at dollar stores and things like that, but you can get shelf stable milk. And then sometimes you would have to reconstitute it in with water. If you think about the lack of refrigeration or the lack of the ability to get fresh product into an area, you can see how the key lime pie eventually was going to be made no matter what. You had the ingredients around. You had condensed milk, you had limes, you had eggs. But Ernest Hemingway has a connection, though, to key lime pie. And the Hemingway home, if you go visit, has some stories and lore around Hemingway and his love of key lime pie. So be sure to check that out if you head over to the Hemingway house. So bottom line is, whichever origin story that you fall into and believe or want to believe about key lime pie, that's up to you. Bottom line is, when you are in the Florida Keys, be sure to check out key lime pie and all the things that are made with key lime. Which leads us into, if you're going to be in Key West during the first part of July, and it's usually right around 4th of July every year, you have the Key Lime Festival. This year in 2025, it's running from July 2nd through July 6th. And their tagline for this is America's favorite citrus celebration, love and limes in Key West. Yes, please, right? One of the fun things about this festival is it's a culinary experience, but it also has a lot of fun things attached to it. So it's fun for everybody in the family, especially if you're coming down to celebrate 4th of July. You have the key lime cocktail sip and stroll. And so throughout Old Town, there will be various places that you can sign up. You'll have a band, you'll have a cup, and you can go around and try various key lime inspired cocktails, and then you get to vote for your favorite. Same concept with a key lime hop. You get to taste different pie variations at different locations, and you get to vote on it. The festival does also offer a VIP ticket option, so you can go into more of the intimate culinary events throughout Key West. And if you happen to be able to be in town and want to really experience something like a local, check out and see if you can volunteer and be part of the volunteer work. They also have, from the lighthouse, they'll drop pies to see how you can create a box, a container, to make sure that key lime pie stays intact as it falls from the lighthouse. A kick to watch. Trust me, that is absolutely fun. But if you're going to go, make sure you get your tickets early if you want to participate in the sip and stroll or any of the VIP things, because those tickets go in far in advance. If you're coming in, make sure you understand not only is it 4th of July in Key West, which is an amazing time, trust me, it is so much fun. But you also have the Key Lime Pie Fest or the Key Lime Festival. So accommodations are going to be iffy. They're not going to be on the cheap side because it is a festival week and a holiday week. And I think if you schedule it out, sometimes you can, without using too many vacation days, end up with a longer stay. So if you can't make it down for the Key Lime Festival and you're not near a Publix, I gave you the recipe that you can then look at creating your own key lime pie. If you are in Key West, but you can't come for the key lime hop and you want to try various places for key lime pie, of course, there's everybody in the Keys serves their variation of key lime pie. Some have meringue a mile high, like Blue Heaven. Some are just using whipped cream, like Kermit's does. And Kermit's also does the frozen key lime pie dipped in chocolate that you can walk around with. You have others that don't put any topping on it at all, but maybe a sprinkle of a seasoning. So I encourage you to check out all the places in Key West and the Florida Keys and see, okay, I like this version, I like that version, maybe I can combine the two. If you are new to making pie, you can go over to the Key Lime Pie Company there over on Green, and you can make your own key lime pie. It'll set up and after it bakes, and you can come back and grab the pie that you made and enjoy it. Those tickets are limited, so you go onto their website and be able to figure that out. So not only do you have key lime pies, but you can make key lime bars and tarts. The Old Town Bakery sometimes has a really fun key lime pastry. Glazed Donuts offers an amazing key lime donut. Moondog offers sometimes a key lime tart that I just absolutely love. If you are indeed making your own key lime pie and you're having people over to maybe taste some variations that you've made, I am going to throw out there that you should probably put a beverage with that and do a beverage pairing. You can do some key lime inspired cocktails. So you could do maybe a gin and tonic or a vodka soda with a little splash of lime juice. You could do a classic margarita with maybe a key lime twist. You could do tequila, do a Blanco tequila with a little bit of soda and some lime. Just something very simple, very light to go with those very tart, very strong flavors of the key lime pie. Not doing cocktails, but would prefer coffee. Maybe a coconut coffee would be yummy with that. So be sure to check that out. If you're setting up a bar like that, maybe you've got various cocktails that you could have them try, or you're doing margaritas by the pitcher, you could also then maybe have some berries that maybe they could scoop on the side, maybe some ice cream to make it extra, extra yummy. So here's some little fun facts and trivia to wrap us up on this key lime pie adventure. Did you know that key lime pie is Florida's state pie? Yep, it's officially a designated state pie of Florida, and that means there's a lot of local pride in making sure that pie stands up to being Florida's state pie. The largest key lime pie ever made was almost 14 feet across, and it was made in Big Pine Key in 2023. So I am sure there are people out there who are saying, you know what, I think we need to make a bigger pie and go for a bigger record. And we talked about why key limes are different than the Persian limes that you see. They're smaller, they're denser, they're more aromatic, they're a little tartar. If you can get them, obviously get them. I'm going to we've had a lot of conversation now about key lime. key limes, key lime pie, key lime everything. I encourage you to check out some of our key lime inspired recipes on our website at FunInKeyWest.com, and under Island Inspired recipes, if you go to desserts, there are a lot of key lime, including our version of the Publix Key Lime Pie recipe. If you are in Key West, and drop me a line. Let me know your favorite place that you love to go for key lime anything. Is it a key lime martini? Is it a key lime pie? Whatever it is. I always love to hear what you guys are doing. Head over to FunInKeyWest.com, sign up for our happy hour list, and also join our book club. We are enjoying ourselves so much over at that book club, and we're missing you. If you're not there, come join the fun. It's all books about either set in Key West, or the author was from Key West, or the author wrote it in Key West, or there's some sort of Key West connection. So that's a Fun in Key West book club. You guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in for another exciting, awesome, I hope you thought so, episode of Tasty Tuesday, where we delved completely into the Publix Key Lime Pie and everything key lime. You guys have a great one. Thanks.